I think it's impossible for an average person to really understand. When I release the brakes, I go in, the thing is turning, I can go on the gas and like a rocket. It's unbelievable. I mean, touching the shoulder in the asphalt every fucking corner.
Meet Jorge Martín, one of MotoGP's most fearless competitors. A MotoGP World Champion who has built a reputation around a win-at-all-cost mentality. But behind the speed is someone just like you and me, battling pressure, self-doubt, and the uncertainty that comes with chasing greatness.
Maybe if I was like, okay, I'm the best, I will win everything. I don't really like this. I come from a humble family. My dad always told me, like, your value is your result of the last race. And I always think like this, no? And it's true.
In a sport where mistakes can change everything, mental strength becomes just as important as talent.
Maybe I lost a bit of concentration and I was in the wrong moment, in the wrong place, because Gian Antonio was coming behind me, and yeah, that was tough. Something inside me, I was like, I'm dying. I called really quickly Maria, my girlfriend, to say goodbye. I told him, like, I love you. I don't know if I'm gonna make it. So, wow, it's huge.
When Martín faced one of the scariest moments of his career, it wasn't speed that brought him back to the top. It was the resilience that he's built his reputation on.
If we are stick together, we can beat anyone.
Gypsy Gang, welcome Jorge Martín to the podcast. You can't come to Barcelona and not do the podcast.
Exactly. I was like there like 5 minutes. I couldn't move like. And then they gave me this fentanyl. I mean, I was good. It was a good mode, but now I feel like, oof,
a little
really bad, yeah. Martinator.
Let's go. Appreciate you, brother.
Vamos.
He really went deep too. There was some really cool stuff in there, stuff I'd never heard, stuff I'm not sure anyone's ever heard. I'm fucked.
It's iconic, dude, that you did this. Oh, there he goes. What a natural, bro. I cannot stand over-the-top YouTubers that start every single video with like, subscribe, smash that like button. I never, ever wanted to be that guy. But in the 7 years that I've been doing this, I would see over and over and over the comments that say, man, how does this channel not have more subscribers? And on the Jet Lawrence podcast, I finally caved. And I asked the Gypsy Gang to check to see if they were subscribed, because we have the data and we know that 70% of the people that watch this podcast regularly aren't subscribed. And I was really interested to see what would happen if I just straight up asked you at the start of an episode. Well, it turns out exactly 4,100 people subscribed to the podcast off that one episode alone, and 7,000 people subscribed last month. So thank you very much. And subscribing to the podcast is something that you can do completely for free, but it actually has a pretty massive follow-on effect with everything that we do. That number is in every presentation that we give to sponsors. It's in every presentation that we give to guests that we're trying to get on the pod, and a whole lot more. Those 7,000 subscribers that we got last month finally pushed us over the 100K mark on this full show channel, taking us well over 350,000 subscribers on YouTube in total. So if you still don't know whether or not you're subscribed, double check now, and thank you so much for watching.
I met a gypsy.
This just here.
Martinator.
Let's go.
Let's go.
The world champion is in the building.
Yep.
You can't come to Barcelona and not do the podcast.
Exactly.
With the great man himself.
Nice.
Dude,
nice.
And you pretty much check yourself out of hospital. I do the podcast this morning with Romain Fevre.
Nice.
And then I open my phone and I see pictures of you in the hospital in the neck brace, and I'm like, well, maybe this afternoon is not. This was 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
That I see this, and then here you are.
Yeah, you know, as I told you before, I went on some fentanyl and I enjoyed that at that moment. But yeah, now I feel a bit dizzy. When I was coming here, I thought, oh, maybe we have to cancel, but I really wanted to be here with you to make this podcast. So yeah, let's go. Let's try it at least.
It's gonna be good. So I remember the Ken Roczen podcast.
Yeah.
you were out injured. You had a bit of a tough start to last year with injuries.
Yes.
And so I'm going through your post on Instagram, and then I see that you've reposted the Ken Roczen podcast, and I was like, no way, Jorge Martín listens to Gypsy Tales, and I was stoked on this.
I love Kenny. I follow him since I was maybe 12, 13 years old, and you know, he have been through hard times, and I get to, you know, I met him last year in Austin, and we were speaking about injuries, about the process, and he's a big inspiration for me. So you know, then I saw your podcast. I really love motocross also. So yeah, that's where our story starts, no?
Amazing. So, what do you make of Ken's championship this year?
Yeah, you know, I push and cheer for him like crazy. I also have good relationship with Hunter and with Jet, but I think Kenny is Kenny. I think he's a legend of Supercross, and he really, also for myself, like winning the title is like closing the circle of our lives, no? To finally end in the, you know, the reason why we are racing, and I'm so happy and proud of his journey.
It's funny that you say that, because for you, right, racing starts as like such a young boy, and then you have this big dream, and it takes years and years and years and years to finally reach this dream. And you've won one championship. You're probably going to win more championships. But to just get that one, it's like the end of the book. And after this, did you feel like so much pressure just come off your shoulders when you win this one world championship?
Absolutely. I think also for me, before winning, it was crucial to understand that I can retire without winning it. So that's really tough, because before understanding this, I had a lot of fear about maybe I will not win ever. Maybe I retired without getting this championship. And you know, it's part of the sport. Sometimes we lose, sometimes we learn, sometimes we win. But absolutely, if you get to win that one, you feel much less pressure. Now, in my position that I'm still fighting for championships, I feel it's not, you know, I don't feel that pressure or that I need to do it. It's just I want to. So that from I need to do it to I want to do it is I think a big difference.
For sure. And I think that I always would say this, that there's a difference between thinking that you can win and knowing that you can win.
Yeah.
Because once you've won and you can say that you're world championship, you know this to be true. And it becomes a lot easier to do something for a second time once you've done it for the first time. You can operate in a totally different space and a totally different mentality.
Yeah, I think the confidence, you need to build confidence. You don't have it from the beginning. So for sure, results are helping to build that confidence. But anyway, doubts are always there. So even if you won like 7 titles, 8 titles, every race is a different story. So you need to believe more in, I think, how you prepare for racing. How do you train? How do you eat? How do you sleep? And if you do everything that you think that is the best for you, and you feel prepared, then your confidence is high, and then you can fight for everything.
I obviously have such a good relationship with Hunter as well, and Kenny, and it was just like a heart splitting into two places for this championship. But now that it's all said and done, and that Kenny won the championship, when I look back, I can't help but think that maybe Hunter was just fighting not only against Ken Roczen, but against like fate. Like after everything that Kenny has been through for his whole career, it's like almost like the universe owed him something. The universe owed him a championship, and the universe gave it to him. And Hunter, it's just like, man, you can't beat the universe. It's not just Ken. You had to beat everything.
Yeah. I think the same. I think, you know, at the beginning of the season, I was cheering a lot for Hunter because I really have a good relationship, and I didn't thought Kenny was gonna be that strong towards the end of the season, no? So yeah, I think at the end of the day was justice. I think it happened what it meant to be, and yeah, Kenny really deserve it. Also, Hunter deserve it. We all work, and yeah, we do everything we can to achieve the results. But I think this one was really special.
So are you the kind of guy that's following Supercross every single weekend?
Yeah.
Like you watch every single race?
I watch every single race. For sure, being in Andorra is more difficult because it's 2 a.m., 3 a.m. the races. So I normally watch the race day live maybe in the night, like before going to sleep. And then before even opening the Instagram on Sunday, I just go to, I just watch Supercross and yeah, I have this, I watch the heats, all the races. I really enjoy watching Supercross.
It's one thing that maybe I didn't know so much before I started the podcast, that when I went to a Formula One paddock or a MotoGP paddock, that all of the riders, all the mechanics, like even your electronics
My electronic
engineer,
guy.
he's like such a fan of the podcast and such a fan of Jet and all these guys. It's so cool because Supercross is a much smaller sport than MotoGP or Formula One, but it's like you guys hold these athletes on such a high level.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, sport is sports. For sure, there are sports where, that are more famous or more people are watching them. But at the end of the day, the work we put on and the hours we put in preparation, I think they are the same, more or less. So we are completely athletes, I think. And anyway, I like sports. So I watch everything. If it has an engine, it's much better because I like them. But for sure, I like to watch everything. And yeah, it's been maybe 10, 12 years that I really follow Supercross every season. Then the outdoors, I follow them by Instagram more because from Europe it's tougher to watch it. But yeah, I really like this sport.
What is it about Supercross and motocross that you're so drawn to?
I think the show is crazy. Everything can change in a few minutes. And yeah, for us, MotoGP, like almost everything is settled and, you can see what is going to happen towards the end. Maybe there's some fight. We always have good battles at the beginning, maybe at the end. But Supercross, I feel, even if someone have a distance of 5-6 second gap, it can be reduced like in 2 laps. So I think this makes it special. Also, the big impacts also is crazy because it's like they have no rules. For sure, maybe there are no written rules, but for us, we cannot even touch another one or. Well, they allow sometimes. Yesterday they pushed me off and nothing happened. But yeah, I mean, this is attractive from it.
Yeah. So is there also a part of it where, because let's say, if you're on a Yamaha in 2026 in MotoGP,
I don't know.
It's not going to be the best. It's not going to be the best result for you. There's like 4 guys and they're at the back because that machine is not competitive this season, right? And there's such a big distance between Yamaha, this model Yamaha, and then a Ducati or Aprilia. But in motocross, Ken won on a 10-year-old motorcycle. So there's also, your sport becomes so much about the machine and the athlete, whereas in Supercross and motocross, I mean, you can see that Kenny can win on anything. Yeah,
I mean, it's... when you see Kenny crashing and then he don't have even the electric power on. No, I don't know the word, but
electric start.
Yeah, the electric start. I mean, it's crazy. For sure, in our sport, the bike is much more important. But anyway, I think the Suzuki is working well for him. You know, maybe on another rider not. But if he don't have the bike, then he wouldn't win. So, it's the balance. I don't know if how can I say, how less performance he have on the Suzuki from a Honda or
I don't think much.
But exactly, we don't exactly know. People is always trying to compare bikes, but at the end of the day, it's impossible to know because each bike it fits to a rider or the other way around.
Yeah. Do you have an all-time favorite Supercross racer?
Yeah, James Stewart, I think. Yeah. I started following Supercross at that time, these comebacks were crazy, and I think that was the moment where I started to really follow the sport.
What year do you think? What era of James Stewart?
I think 2007 was his prime.
Yeah.
I watched all the documentaries about his farm, his family, his dad. So I think that part was the best. But I think I started to follow more like 2013, something like this.
Yeah.
He was still strong, still winning, but there were also there was Danji, another riders.
Villapoto.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you came at a good time.
Yeah. I think it was one of the best moments in history of the sport.
Yeah. Do you follow the MXGPs and stuff as much as well?
I like to follow. I train sometimes with some riders like with the Conan brothers or Now it's been 2 years that I don't train motocross because of the injuries, but I like motocross and I really like to see it. I feel a bit more boring motocross than Supercross.
Yeah. With my crazy travel schedule, busy workflow, and days at the track, I've learned that feeling great isn't about some secret hack. It's about constantly doing intentional things that have a lasting impact on your health. For me, AG1 has been that intentional habit for years. Whether I'm at home or halfway across the world, I start my morning with AG1. It helps me stay consistent even when life is unpredictable. The travel packs make it easy too. Whether I'm at a MotoGP round, filming a podcast, or heading to the next race, I always have AG1 with me. I've felt the difference with my digestion, gut health, and overall wellness, and I love that AG1 is NSF certified for sport, so I trust what I'm putting in my body every day. If you're ready to feel the difference for yourself, use the AG1 link in the description below to save on your next order. So, talking about your own riding, when did you start riding motocross for training?
So I started 2000, I think it was 2013, a friend of my dad gave us a KTM from 2007.
Yeah.
Because we had no money to buy one, and he was good, and he just gave it to me for training. I didn't have any motorbike. I just went on a pit bike, like a really small bike on the karting, and that's how I arrived to Moto3. So after that, I started to doing some motocross. I wasn't super, but after a few years, I started to get the technique. I have the instinct, so the throttle is always open, even if I'm slow. I always spin. But I love to train motocross and to make some whips.
Yeah, because you ride good.
Well, I'm not super fast, let's say, comparing to Jack Miller, that he's super strong. I feel I lose 3-4 seconds. But anyway, for me, is good enough. I enjoy. I can do my runs of 25-30 minutes, and it's a good training.
Yeah. How do you view motocross as training for MotoGP?
I think for me, just because the temperature, we really struggle to train in the winter because it's really cold and we need to keep the tires warm. And in motocross, you don't need it. So this is one point.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, this is one point.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, normally when I was, I didn't train during winter motorbike. So when I was young, in February, I was always getting injured because I had no preparation.
Yeah.
So after that, I trained, so I never get injured when I come back because I was in a good shape. So that's one point. Then I think also you work a lot on the reaction, like the track is changing, so you need to adapt the bumps, the sliding, the jumps. I think it's a great sport for us, and also it's cheaper. I think motorbikes, asphalt, every time you go, you spend 500 euros for the tires, plus the fuel, plus the track is expensive. So just motocross, you spend 20 euros a day, and or plus the fuel is nothing compared to asphalt.
Yeah. I think maybe 4 or 5 laps with Jack.
Okay.
On the back.
Which bike?
It was a Ducati 1098 or something. It was like a Panigale V4R.
Okay.
It was like a
okay.
Yeah.
But you rode it or you
he
were
rode.
And you were
and
behind.
I was on the back.
Oof.
Bro, the arm pump.
Your arm pump.
Oh my god, it was the craziest.
Yeah.
That experience, it like changed my whole perspective of MotoGP because he was going fucking fast.
Yeah, imagine. I think he will be maybe 30%.
Dude.
Yeah.
I get on the back and because we grew up racing in Australia.
Okay.
So and I get on the back and he's like, I'm fully prepared to crash.
No way.
And
so maybe it was 80%.
And I'm like, fuck.
Wow.
But he just basically said, he's like, dude, just don't put weight on me under braking. And then just lean when I lean. So I'm just going as hard as I can to just do what he did and like every time just slam the brakes.
Were you touching the knee or not?
I can't even remember.
You don't remember?
I can't remember, bro.
How many laps? 5?
5 laps.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Because normally they don't, when you do the lap, they just go out
one
lap and then don't do the main straight.
Yeah.
But we did the main straight like 5 times,
Wow.
bro. And the first time we went down into turn 1, we like went super, super deep, almost overshot the turn.
That's crazy.
But I got a crazy insight into your world.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not the same, and there's like another level again. But I just could not believe the lean angle. And it feels like, I would describe to people, it feels like you're about to fall off the back of an office chair. There's like this feeling that the bike just drops.
Yeah.
And then it catches and goes. And it's like, it was the most mind-blowing experience, but also the arm pump. And I ride a lot of motocross.
Okay.
And I don't really get arm pump when I do motos that much.
Yeah, I think it's more about the tension, no? Because for us, depends on your position on the weekend maybe or your speed. But for sure, if you don't have the speed, you compensate with the physical side.
Yeah.
So at the moment you are not fast enough, you get arm pump, you get leg pump, you get everything, you know. And I think also motocross, I get more arm pump than
really?
than on the asphalt. But when I get to, let's say, my speed, then it's okay.
Yeah.
So if you override, let's say, is when you get the problems.
But I think that it did definitely give me a good look at how good motocross training could be for you guys. Because it's obviously very different, but the feeling that I had in my arms was like before I knew how to ride motocross properly almost, you know? So I could see that it would become a very good training for you guys. But I've never thought about cold tires. Because in the winter, you can't really go to a track when it's this cold. Yeah,
you can put the tire warmers, but afterwards, today I crashed because cold tire. For example, it was 20 degrees. So you can have you can warm the tires in the box, in the garage. But as soon as you exit, the temperature is getting low and low and low. And it's really difficult to get it up, just braking, you know. So it's one of the reasons. And also physically, I think it helps. But when you go on a MotoGP bike, there's nothing compared to that. I can train with the super sport or with the super bike, but even if I do 1 hour run on the super bike, there's nothing compared to 10 minutes on a MotoGP bike. It's completely different, and it's much more tougher.
What is it? What makes it different?
I think the speed, we arrive 360 km per hour, and then you have to stop to 80. So, in 200 meters, this is, the arms, the legs. I feel with the experience I am getting, I am using much more my body. Now I use much more my legs. You can see my, I don't know, where did you put the fuel? How's the fuel tank?
Yeah.
My fuel tank have like big pieces to help me to ride, because without them I cannot make even 2 laps. I am completely, my arms are fucked and I'm destroyed. So we really develop with Aprilia this piece, and I can ride even with releasing the arms, and I can relax and rest a bit, because otherwise it will be impossible.
I sat and watched the qualifying with Dovi.
Okay.
From the pit wall.
Nice.
And they played a slow motion shot. I can't remember which turn it is. But
5,
it's turn 5?
Yeah.
And I just said, how the fuck does he do this?
Yeah.
Because everybody else, they're obviously low, but you're on, it's a different thing.
Yeah.
And Dovey he said, that guy can use his legs like nobody else.
Yeah. He said that about the legs. Nice comment.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, for me, turn 5 is quite playing. You know, I know that's the shot, so I just go for it. But I don't really use it while I'm riding. But actually, it was, I think, Le Mans. Yeah, it was Le Mans in the time attack. You know, I was leaning so much to try to turn, and then I was touching all the shoulder on the asphalt, not on the curb. Because Montmeló, we have this curb that is like 30 centimeters upper, so it's really easy for me to touch. But it was corner 6 in Le Mans where I tried, you know, I leaned all on the asphalt. I was really impressed. And also here in Montmeló, I started like developing this technique because I feel the limit. I feel my body is on the perfect position. So I'm, you know, sponsors won't be happy.
So do you remember the first time that you did this?
Wow. I think it's Montmeló. Yeah, maybe 20, already with the Moto2, I was touching a bit, but it wasn't that, that impressive. But yeah, 21, I was touching a bit. And then we, you know, after the shot was out on social, then, you know, it's like, I need to do it.
The one thing that I remember when I did these laps with Jack, I thought to myself, how the fuck do you figure that out? Because I've done track days. I've ridden Phillip Island.
Okay,
I can touch my knee on the ground the whole way through the turn.
Nice.
So it's like, but just the amateur, like I can go around the track. I can ride the lines. I think maybe like 300, just 300 down the main straight.
Nice.
So it's like, okay, that's doing the sport. But then there's this whole different universe. And riding on with Jack, I was just like, bro, how the fuck do you find this place? The place where I am to get to this other place, I would never even think that it's possible. And then for you to be just like scraping your entire arm, just like this, it's like, how do you even find that place?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just after so many years racing, you know, when I was in Moto3, I had a completely different style. But then the important thing for me is trying to improve. I'm always focused on improving. And every time I'm getting lower, I see the result of getting lower. I see that my style is improving and developing in that direction. So I just help him. And yeah, for sure I'm not really tall. So the other riders can help the bike, you know, maybe they can lean less and turn the same as me, but I cannot. So I have to get lower and lower. Also, you know, the bikes now are crazy. I think the best bikes in history. Next year we will change the regulation, so we will go like backwards. So now it's like the best moment together with the tires, the aerodynamics, and yeah, we can go that low. It's fantastic. I enjoy it a lot, and yeah, I will enjoy the whole season.
Man, it is pretty incredible where these bikes are.
Yeah.
I mean, 300, I think, 360, 356.
Yeah, here was 363 here.
You were 363.
The record is 366, I think.
Dude.
Yeah,
that doesn't even, like, should that even be able to be said in a sentence?
I mean, these bikes are crazy. I think, you know, with a straight without corners, we will go 400 kilometers per hour, 100%.
Really?
Yeah, or more. I don't know, because then the drag is getting bigger, so I don't know at which point it would stop. But the power we have, we almost never use all the power, just from fourth gear upwards, then we put all the power, but first, second, and third is nothing.
And why is that? Because it's just too much power. If you try to use that, it'll be too much. Yeah,
the tire wouldn't upset that power, and neither the wheelie. So you have to compensate always between slide and wheelie. So, you know, the best point is where It's just pushing, but not willing. We have to find always that moment. Also, we need to change a lot while the tire is dropping, because then you slide more, so you have to release a bit of traction control. So we have a lot of, for us, there's a lot of work on the electronic side, sometimes much more than on the setup.
Yeah. So how difficult is that? Why it's so difficult to set these bikes up these days is because you're playing such a delicate game between having so much power, not wheeling, not spinning, different corners. There's so many different variables, and you have so much power that you're really having to maximize for having so much power.
Yeah, there are a lot of points here. We could be speaking about this for 2 hours.
Yeah.
But for sure, there's the first thing I think is the physical side. So you cannot ride this bike like full power for 45 minutes. That's impossible. So you need to manage the physical side. And for me, sometimes I can use more power, or maybe I use more in the time attack, but I cannot manage it for the whole distance of the race. So then there are some maps for the time attack, and there are some other maps for the race. And then, as we said, you need to always understand what is the maximum you can get out of the tire. So maybe the first 6 laps you have 1 power, then you change a bit on some corners, not all the track, but some corners. And then at the end of the race, you need to change a bit also the traction control or the power. And also engine brake is quite important for us. We can work on that during we can change each corner, each gear, and depends on the angle. So like from 0 to 20 degrees, then 20 to 40, and then 40 to 60. So maybe on corner 1, second gear, on the edge, I need less engine brake. So maybe this is on map 1. And then map 2 is different. So that's the whole work. Then we have the setup that it also changed the electronics. So, the problem here is the time. We don't have enough time. We arrive on Friday, 1 free practice, and then we have to go to Q2 straight. So we are always on time attack. We're always pushing, but you never get to work a lot on the race. So sometimes it's a mystery what is going to happen.
Wow. That honestly sounds like an impossible problem.
Yeah. It's not impossible. You need to be clever. You need to understand where to use your time, and do a good job in the practices with used tires. Try to understand how to, what I can get from the bike to be, let's say, to ride easier on Sunday. So that's the key.
And then how much, when you switch manufacturers, do you basically just start from zero? Like everything's new, or is there some things that carry over?
Yeah, so at the end of the day, it's a motorbike. You just have to ride a motorbike. For sure, the difficult thing is understanding which is the strongest point. This is for sure. And then to take out the small things from the bike, no? So the Aprilia is quite different to the Ducati. I had to change a lot my style in braking, in acceleration also. So there are some better points, some worse points, but at the end of the day, if you take profit of the good points, it really compensates.
So it's interesting when you said that time is working against you. So it's true. Like you guys you don't get to test very much.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that when you're testing, you're trying to make new things for the motorcycle to make the motorcycle better.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're optimizing what you already have for the specific track. It's more future focused.
Yeah, absolutely. Depends on the factory. Depends on your point in your career or the factory. Let's say, because I remember being back in Ducati, there were some points where there were no more pieces. Let's say, or the bike is. It reached the top. So it's really difficult to develop. So you try to find something on the setup to try to improve it, or on maybe on how the bike gives you the power. But for sure, I see Aprilia have a still margin. So I remember being in Jerez, I had new pieces. Every part I was trying was improving my package. So now it's improving the package. And then finding a base setup, I think for us is crucial. So if you lose a bit the way, go into the base. When you go to the base, you know what you have. Maybe it's not the best for that track, but will go well. So always, every track you need to change something. Maybe the forks, or maybe the small things. But what I was saying before, if you lose the way, you can go to your base and then you can race.
Yeah. So let's say this weekend, you get
It was tough.
Wasn't the best weekend. But so let's say instead of having, so you got FP1, then you got the practices, then qualifying, and then the sprint and then the race. Let's say you had double the amount of practice sessions. How much better could you get the motorcycle for the race?
Well, so to give you an example, on my third lap of the FP1, I did 40.2. 1 minute 40.2. That this was the main pace of the winner of the race. So, when I arrived there, I have already the speed, but the thing is to get to do it for 24 laps.
Yeah.
So, at the beginning, the first day, we didn't touch the bike. I was feeling good, but then the condition is changing, the asphalt is changing. So I was feeling worse and worse. So we started changing the bike towards towards Sunday. And I think from Friday, I never ride the same bike, like the same setup, till the race. We changed always something during the practices or from one practice to the race. We always change something, the heights, different things. And at the end, Sunday was the best moment. I felt super good. So this means we were on the right direction. But for sure, if we have more time, maybe we can improve much more. Is that the big problem?
Is this why maybe it's so hard to get into MotoGP? And then once you're in MotoGP, guys really stick around for a long time, because to bring somebody up from Moto2, it's just such a massive learning curve.
Yeah, for sure. Moto2 is a great category. There's a lot of level now. You can see the young riders are pushing a lot. But MotoGP is another story. I think, when I remember when I arrived in MotoGP, I was incredible. I was impressed how the bike was helping me. I thought there was no limit. You could do whatever, whatever. The tires were impressive, the gearbox, the brakes. But then while you start getting experience, what I was going to say is that at the beginning I, left a lot confidence, not confidence, but the knowledge to the team. They were making my maps. I was just riding. They told me like, okay, on lap 6 you have to change this map. On lap 18 you change this map. But now I make those maps. I really sit with my electronic. I work on that, and it's really important to have a great connection with your guy. Let's say because he know what you need or what you want, and if you don't get that confidence, as when I jump into Aprilia, I really miss that, because I was 4 years with the same guy, so I really miss that connection, and I really struggled to do the maps. But now with Penny, the guy we talked before, he really I arrived in the box and he told me, okay, I changed this because I saw that you are winning too much, and I said, okay, perfect, But before I was like, don't touch anything, I'm good with it. So it's really connection thing with all the team, and it's really important to have that confidence.
Yeah. So let's go back a little bit then. You said that it was, to the point in 2013, like you couldn't even buy a new motorcycle, and you got a dirt bike as a gift. So did you ever think that you could make it to MotoGP with where you started in life?
So I always dream about it, since I was really young. When it's your birthday, you always dream about something, no? So I was dreaming to be not just world champion, but MotoGP world champion. So it was a long journey. My parents helped me, or my family helped me a lot. Without them, it would be impossible. I was dreaming about it, but at that point, I never thought I was gonna make it. Also, I have a mind. I'm like always thinking. I know. My mind doesn't really help me. He's always on the opposite side. But maybe this is why I arrived. So I try to work on the mental side also. And
so you had a lot of self-doubt?
Yeah, exactly. That was the word. Yeah, a lot of self-doubt. I really struggled to believe in myself. I'm working on it. I'm improving for sure. I know who I am. And yeah, that's the point. If you're starting to know who you are and you know what you need in every moment, then your confidence is getting higher. And yeah, finally we achieve it. So I'm so happy.
So even with all of the talent that you have and winning so many races, there's still doubt.
Yeah. We have Mark here that is working with me, and he always told me like, you don't know how good you are.
That's what I'm thinking.
You don't really know.
Yeah.
So I'm good with it. I think this is why I always try to improve.
Yes.
Maybe if I was like, okay, I'm the best, I will win everything. I don't really like this. I think maybe I will relax. And I feel, I come from a humble family. I have a humble personality, so I don't really want to change this. I think it's helping me to improve and develop my style and also improve as a person.
Yeah, but there's got to be a point. I think that you can be humble, but there's also a point where you should believe that you're one of the best and capable of winning in every race, because the level of talent that you've shown and the races that you've won. But I guess you're right, because maybe if you stop thinking this way, or maybe if you don't, you'll stop to look for improvements and you'll stop looking for progression. There's probably like a balance there that needs to be right.
Yeah, I think I am realistic is the word. Like, I'm realistic. I know my possibilities. I know that I am one of the best in the world. That's for sure. But if I start 15, I know that my potential in that race maybe is not the victory, and maybe it's a top 5.
Yeah.
So I try to understand this, because if you start 15 and you want to win like crazy, 99% you will crash. So I just know my potential. I know that I'm ready for each situation, but I know, to finish third. I know to finish second. I know to win, but I'm not really like, my goal is not winning. My goal is to do everything I can to win. Let's say, I don't know if I'm getting it right. I do, I train, I eat well, I sleep well, I recover well. And the consequence of all of this will be the win.
Yes.
So that's my goal, to prepare myself to be at my 100%. And then if I do everything well, I will win.
Yeah. So the goal is to follow the process.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When I won the championship, I was so happy. I really enjoyed that month. But then 2 months after, I was on a wheelchair, and I couldn't walk. So at the end of the day, for me, the result is not that important. For me, it's enjoying the process, having fun while I am working at home. And I think I learned quite a lot from injuries. So yeah, that's why I think I don't look always on the result. I look more on my feelings, on how I enjoy riding, enjoying the bike, and these things.
Was it always like this, or is that something that you had to learn?
No, I really work on that. Normally, I was always, about this self-doubt mindset. I really always wanted to prove the people that I was good. So, when I was in Ducati, like proving Ducati that I was, I really deserved that factory ride, or always trying, maybe also for the people, because I used to have a lot of hate. So I was like trying to demonstrate something that there's nothing I can change. So I really learned that I don't need to demonstrate anything to anyone, just to my family, just to myself. But yeah, I work on that these few years.
That's a tough process to go through, right? Because I mean, even for me doing the podcast, like I was nobody. I I never really put myself out to be in a public person, and it's just there's a whole lifetime that you live where nobody even knows who you are.
Yeah.
And it would be the same for you. You're just a kid that loves to race his motorcycle, loves to go fast, and then as you progress and the steps go higher and higher in your career, and for me, as more people see the podcast and bigger guests come on, then all of a sudden now you have this whole public that has an opinion of you, but they've never met you. They don't know who you are. They see this one thing on TV or they see this on social media, and then even the media in the paddock, and then they write the stories. Maybe they don't know the truth. And then you end up having to face this whole perception of people that have never even met you. And it takes it's a thing that you have to work through.
Yeah, I think you have more risk than we are with the comments, no? Because you are completely there, no? You are we are all I mean, everybody's free to give an opinion. At this point, I really how can I say, watching some kind of comments, you really understand that people, there are some persons that are not really very clever, I think. But yeah, I think from histories you read, you cannot, it's really difficult to comment, or you don't really know what is going on inside. So I can see, last season with all the Aprilia mess that I wear, I was really suffering. I was with 25 broken bones, and people were still telling me I was an idiot, no? So, nobody knows what is going on inside myself or inside yourself. So it's better to keep the opinion to yourself, and
I think you got to the right place though, because the right place is that you need to know yourself. And you need to know your own motivations and your own intentions. Yeah. And then if the people that are around you and the people that are close to you have a good opinion of you, then, because they're the people that actually know you.
Exactly. I just want to have I want to have a small circle around me. I want to, that the people I love can tell me the wrong things. Because, it's funny, but every time I win, is when I blocked more people on WhatsApp, because when I see like, congratulations, you are the best, blocked. Congratulations, you're amazing, blocked. So I really like when, yesterday I crashed, or, whatever happened, it doesn't go right, but there's the people where, how are you feeling? I really want these people close to me, and the rest I don't really care.
Yeah, because that's becomes then a different challenge to navigate, because there's the public and the people on the outside, and then there's like kind of the people in the middle. Yeah, that they want the success, exactly. They want and then that also becomes a whole nother. Yeah, problem.
That's a difficult thing for us, the athletes or singers, whatever, the famous people. Let's say you are very young, you start to earn a lot of money, and if you don't have a good structure like your parents or a close friends that stops you, it's really easy to lose the focus. It's really easy to get to go around with people that are they don't care about you. They just want to be with you on that party, on that event or whatever. So I'm really happy and really thankful that thanks God I found the right people around me. If I want to have fun, I will have fun with them, and if we want to cry, we will cry together. So this is fantastic, and I think it's the best in life.
And the hard part is sometimes you need people that will tell you that you're being a dickhead. Yeah, when you're being a dickhead, and then you can get some people that they just will always tell you that you're the best.
Yeah, I mean, I have as I said before, a great circle. I remember when you're saying this, my manager, Albert, sometimes he was even crying, telling me the things, because it's not easy to tell your rider that he's not doing well on something, but he was even like crying, suffering for me, but on his pants, let's say. So yeah, this is the people I want behind me, and yeah, if we are stick together, we can beat anyone.
Beat the world.
Yeah, exactly.
So, when was your first earliest memories of wanting to be a MotoGP world champion?
My dad used to ride. My dad was amateur level, but was running with the Yamaha R1 some races.
Yeah.
And we lived close to Jarama circuit. That it was one of the most iconic races in the 500s.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I woke up in the morning, I was listening motorbikes every day, and for me, it was like music. People were arguing. Now I think they're closing the track, but people were arguing. I was in love. But I think, yeah.
Who was your dad's favorite rider?
I think Valentino. But yeah Valentino, I think, was the favorite rider. And this was the 2006. We went to watch MotoGP.
Wow.
Valencia.
Yeah.
Valentino he lost the championship at that race with Nicky Hayden.
Yeah.
And
20 years ago.
Yeah, that's crazy.
20 years ago.
I think was that point. All the the photos with all the riders, like smelling the paddock for the first time. And there's a funny story about this one because, Valentino was exiting from some free practice or qualifying. And it was, you can imagine all the,
just a
hundreds of people.
Yeah.
But at some point, my mom was like, Valentino, il bambino. It's like the kid.
Yeah.
And he catch me. He just put his hand on my head. And we have this really nice photo. And afterwards, I was like 2 weeks having the shower with the hands on the head. I was like, God touch me, please. I want to keep this, no? And at the end, I was able to race with him his last year, no? In 2021, his last career year of being professional. So for me, it was really emotional to race with him.
What made Valentino so special in your mind?
Character, absolutely. How he approached the people. It's like there are riders that you feel for them. Like if they crash, you feel for them. If you win, you are winning with them. So I think Valentino is one of those. It was also a big inspiration for me. I hope that people can have some feelings while I'm riding. I want to make the people feel something when I am riding. So I think this is at the end the main goal.
Man, I remember this weekend, obviously because I knew we were doing the podcast this week, I was really watching your weekend and man, I think in terms of what I feel when I watch you ride, there's just a level of just aggression and send at the start of these races that it's amazing to watch somebody, and a lot of you guys now at the top level, it's like this, but there is just so much intensity that comes with racing at the level that you guys are at now, and it's unbelievable. And when you can when you can be an average amateur and go and put on some slicks and do a track day on a 1,000cc motorcycle, you just get this like mind-blowing feeling that this is actually possible by humans. And so I think that you guys are now making it to where it's just unbelievable. The average person, I just don't think can even believe what you guys are doing.
Yeah, I think it's impossible for an average person to really understand. Even yes, you sir, an amateur that goes with the 1,000 to the track with his legs. The other day I get to ride with some of the Aprilia.
At Austin.
I was in Austin.
Yeah.
It was in Austin, but then we did in Misano like a coaching day. Like we were filming them, we were telling some advices, and at the end of the day, I was telling all the same things. I see really clear the common errors, let's say, and yeah, I think the level in MotoGP is always racing. It's every time is more difficult. When you get injured and you go out and then you come back, you say, no way. It's like, no way.
Yeah.
What these guys did during
happened?
these 2 months? What the fuck? So yeah, this is nice. Sport is like this. And I always say that either you improve or you get worse. There's no way in the middle. I mean, you cannot get stuck. So that's why I always try to improve to be at the top.
And I think another thing that really stands out for me with yourself and other guys that are at the top is just how bad you guys want to win. Like when I watch, will you start 7th on the grid this weekend?
Ninth.
And
I was ready for it.
you wanted to win.
Yeah.
You can see the hunger and the desire to win, and it's mind blowing.
Yeah, it's crazy. We all want to win. There's something inside of ourselves. It's not that I'm always thinking like I want to win. It's that I know that inside of me I want to win, and I will do everything I can to perform at my 100% to be able to fight for that victory. You never know if you are gonna make it or not, but what I want to feel is that I can do it. When I'm on the grid, when I am focused, when I am praying, I only want to know that, okay, I'm prepared for it. And if I'm prepared for it, I think nothing can stop me.
So that moment with Valentino, does that then set you really in motion to really want to be a MotoGP rider?
Yeah, I think it was that point.
Have you ever told him that?
No. I think it's not that I thought about being MotoGP rider, but I knew I wanted to be a rider. I wanted to ride. I wanted to be on a motorbike since I was 6 years old, and yeah, I was, at the beginning of the day, it was like a game, no, for my parents also, like going to some go-kart track, even urban tracks, maybe in Valencia or in Madrid. So it was crazy. But finally, it started to get bigger and bigger, and at some point we couldn't even stop it. I was close to stop sometimes because of the money, but finally we could make it.
What was the closest point you came to stopping?
So I think it was before entering into the Red Bull Rookies Cup. So we had no more money, and yeah, my dad knew that there was a cup that Red Bull was making to help the other riders, and they were paying for everything. We just had to pay the travel expenses. So we went to the selection event. It was 2011 the first time, and I didn't make it. No, 2010, and I didn't make it to go inside. I was fast, but they told me, please come back next year. You are strong, but you are still too young. We cannot afford it. So I went back the year after, but that one was my last chance. We were thinking about to go to AMA to raise maybe 600 because we know they were paying some bonuses for the wins, and I knew that I could win. So we were like, okay, maybe we can get some money there.
Go smoke these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry for it, with all the respect. But in Europe the level is super high.
Yeah.
And luckily I did an amazing selection event. They catch me, and then was easier. For us was already difficult to pay this 10,000 euro to pay the expenses for the travels, but yeah, my family helped me, and we achieved it.
That's so crazy, eh?
Yeah.
That if that never happened, maybe we don't have a world champion.
Exactly. It could be, we were so close, but we guess we will never know.
Yeah. So do you remember your family struggling? Like, could you tell at that age, or did they kind of hide from you that it was hard for them?
Yeah, I mean the first time was this time I tell you in the Rookies Cup, but I was 11, I was 12 years old, so not that much. But then I did the Red Bull Rookies Cup. Second year I finished second. We tried to move into Moto3, and everybody was like, okay, yeah, you're great, but we want 200,000. We want 200,000. We want 300,000. Okay, we say, okay, we're fucked. And then, I think that was the point where I have felt the most pressure.
Really?
Because we went into 2014, and the only option was to win. Because I had to win. If I didn't win, I knew that finishing second wasn't enough, so I had to go for the win. And at that point, my mom was making bracelets at home, selling them for €5. My dad was with no job. So we came from, it's a normal family. It's not that we are poor, but my dad used to work in the bank.
But when you're trying
places.
to raise a MotoGP rider, you're poor.
Yeah,
a normal family equals poor
no,
for MotoGP.
Exactly. So my dad, after all the crisis in 2008, he was with no job.
Oh.
So my mom was making bracelets for €5. My family was helping me with $500. We were on the limit, but I was still racing. I was still on the Rookies Cup. So I won, and then this chance arrived, to go into the Moto3. And this was the key moment in my career to be able to achieve it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I think nobody knows it.
Really?
Yeah. I know people...
Maybe closer.
Maybe they know that we struggled, but not that my mom was making bracelets.
That's so special.
Yeah.
You must be obviously so grateful now.
Yeah.
But when you see the passion, and then when you see how much the victories mean, and when you see how much the championships mean,
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that's where it comes from.
Yeah, for sure. I will never. I mean, it's impossible to repay my parents what they did for me. I don't remember going in holidays with my parents. Never, because we didn't. All the money we had was for motorbikes. So yeah, I hope that during all my life I can repay back, with all my love and all the help that I can. But for sure, the meaning of that, the meaning of what they did, is impossible to give them back.
It must feel very good then to be able to help your mum now, and to help your dad.
Yeah.
Does that bring you a lot of fulfillment now?
Yeah, I think so. That's a great part of my thinking. I think that the decisions I take in my career, like maybe for the future or whatever I do, I always think on them. How can I help them more, or how maybe they can be more happy. So this is great, and I really like it.
That's very special.
Yeah,
it's very cool to be able to the sacrifices that they made, and for you to not even really feel that pressure for a lot of your life.
Exactly.
And I know that some, especially in motocross, like for some kids, it's very obvious.
Yeah,
how bad their parents are struggling, and there's like so much pressure, and there's so much put on them as a kid to perform to get them to the next race. But it seems like they really kept you almost like sheltered from this, let you be a kid and enjoy the racing. Obviously there's like some make or break times, but it just doesn't seem like there was this crazy pressure or stress.
Yeah, I think as you said, that when you are young, you are stride, you enjoy racing. Even you go with your rivals, they are friends. I mean, they're friends. You play when you are out of the bike, you are playing. But I think the parents are crucial. I could see a lot of talented riders, maybe same or more as me. I don't really know, but they didn't make it because of wrong decisions of their parents. So, I think it's really, my dad was the key in all this history, because he did the right choices, the right decisions to put me in the Red Bull Rookies Cup and not maybe finding money for another thing. So he did the right choices, and that's why you arrive. So the parents have a huge weight on the rider career, I think.
Have you ever really thought about hydration? I bet you haven't, but I have, and that's why I am on a mission to hydrate action sports with my new company, Sota Fuel. You can look at any study. Hydration is one of the key factors in human performance. And action sports is about as high performance as it gets, and there are extreme consequences to not being locked in. Find out more about how important hydration is for you, and if you're leaving performance on the table, by heading to sotafuel.com. So let's fast forward a little bit because there's probably even more stuff that we could get
we
to,
have a lot of stuff.
what are some of the biggest moments or key moments from Moto2 and Moto3 and Moto2, do you think?
So I think there are a lot. So I was racing Moto3. I was good, but I wasn't really making the difference. I was with Mahindra. It wasn't the best bike. I had Pecco as a teammate.
Yeah.
He had already some experience, third year. I was my rookie season, and he was on the podium. He was faster than me. Then we started this second year, and I really knew I had the potential to be fighting for the podiums, but I had issues with the gearbox. I was really struggling. So at that point, I just wanted to move to an Honda, no? So luckily, I have the opportunity to go with Gresini. They gave me the Honda. I choose the team that paid me the less, but I really wanted that opportunity. Then I moved to Andorra because I really wanted to focus on my career. I thought at that point that Madrid, my hometown, didn't help me to train at my 100%, to rest. So I just moved by my own with 17 years old, living by my own in a 50 meters square flat, and that was the key moment. After that I started winning races, 11 pole positions in one season.
Yeah. So
that was huge. Then I was Moto3 World Champion, and then I moved to KTM. This was also a difficult year, the first one in Moto2, because we had this KTM chassis that wasn't really working well. But finally, they made the decision to change to a Kalex, and I was fighting again for the championship. But then the COVID arrived.
Yeah.
So at that point, I signed my MotoGP contract with Ducati, and I think that was the key moment in my career, let's say, and thanks to that, I was able to have a great bike and win the championship.
What did you learn in those lower categories?
So that's a good question. For sure, you get experience while you are young. You are every race you do, you learn something. That's for sure. Maybe more about the crashes, maybe to find the limit.
Yeah.
But I think the important thing, after all, is to be conscious of what you are doing. And this I started to doing like 2 years ago. So till 2 years ago, I was just riding just on the edge, always on the edge, getting injured every 2 months. But maybe 2 years ago, I had this click on my mind. I started to work a bit more inside. I started to work on my mental side, and then is when I started to, my experience went 10,000 more. No? So that was the key moment. And I think in these 2 years I learned much more than in the my 24 before.
What made you make that switch inside and start to look more internal? Did it just come out of just straight frustration, where it was almost like the old way isn't working?
Yeah, it was absolutely like you are telling me. It was when I lost the championship in Valencia. I lost the championship, and then I didn't want to continue racing.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, okay, I gave my 100%. I left my balls there, like fighting like crazy for 25 years. And in fact, I finished second in the last race. So yeah, we went into December. Okay, I went to Maldives with my lady. Then for sure, starting back to training. But the precision was coming back. No, and it was arriving February, and I didn't really want to race. So at that point, I said, okay, I need some help. I need some help here. Something is going wrong. So, I started to work with some psychologist, is the word?
Yeah.
So, he told me, okay, this is the fear, because you have the fear of losing. You don't want to lose again. So, we work on that. That's the point where I told you before that I understood that maybe I will not win. Never in my life. So the win is not the result. The win is the the process or the story you make, no, your career.
Mm-hmm.
So when I realized that, I started to enjoy more the process, to enjoy more riding, because I wasn't enjoying riding. I was just riding because it was my job. So at that point, I changed a bit my mentality, and I really started to learn more about myself.
It sounds so simple.
Yeah.
And then once you have this click, this moment, but it's funny. I mean, I was never a good racer. I was never going to be professional, right? But my whole life, I just cared about the wrong shit. And now that I'm at this place in my life and I'm where I am and I can look back and I think about my days racing, because right now I love riding more than I ever have in my entire life. I get everything for free. I can get unlimited motorcycles. I can get whatever I want. And when I was a kid, instead of doing motos and emptying my fuel tank completely and just riding with ball tires or bad grips, or I just cared about all of this bullshit, and you end up like it's just stopped you from being good because you just cared about the wrong things. And maybe I cared more about what other people thought about me than just the love of riding.
Exactly.
And then now it takes me to, I fast forward and now I'm lucky with my job. I get great bikes and I can get whatever I want. I don't want anything anymore.
You have to be grateful now.
I have a stock motorcycle. I never change my air filter. I never change my oil. I have bald tires. I do my tire pressure, and that's the only thing that I do, and just pump gas.
Yeah.
And now I just love riding so much, but because all of the expectations are gone. I don't care what other people think. Because now it's like I'm so busy with my job, with my career,
you're enjoying
my wife. This is my time that I just go to this place and I can love the riding for what it is. And I think that when you can make these changes to just be very grateful for what you have and for what you get to do. And there's a switch. It's funny. You know Harry Bink, the freestyle rider?
No.
He's a crazy fucking guy, right? But he said like the smartest shit. He goes, you need to change your mindset from I have to do this to I get to do this.
Okay.
And that seems like what you did.
Yeah.
It was not I have to do this. This is my job. Now it's like I get to do this. I get
want
to enjoy this process. Exactly. I want this now.
Exactly. Absolutely. Yesterday I was hearing the other day I was hearing a quote about an old guy. And he said, yesterday is history, tomorrow is mystery, today is a present, no? So that's the thing. You have to enjoy the moment because the past is the past. And for sure, life changed a lot for all of us. Everything goes so fast. So sometimes for me, it's really important to stop and really say, okay, look what what do you achieve, no? Like it's crazy. And enjoy the moment, enjoy now being here with you. Maybe 2 years ago, I will be here thinking about the dinner or maybe the result of yesterday. So I don't really care about yesterday. It's history, as we said before. Life is not only motorbikes for me. Like after the race, I went cycling. Like, okay, it's done. For sure, I was frustrated at the moment. I was really disappointed of how I entered into the box. So, okay, I have to improve that. I will improve that, absolutely. But it's gone. So I want to go cycling and enjoy some laps with my trainer. So that's life, I think. Enjoying the moment, just trying to don't think a lot about the future because you cannot control and control what you can control. I mean, what I can control to, for example, in the races, I can control to start well. Okay, so I will focus on start well. To brake late, I will brake late. To lean the perfect, so I will do that. I cannot control if another rider will push me out and I will crash. So there's no reason why thinking or losing energy on that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it was a pretty stressful, and maybe you can say like maybe you made this situation more stressful on yourself with the way that you did think back then, but you wanted to be the factory Ducati rider so bad. And it's like, again, that's not in your control.
Exactly.
Maybe you wanted that thing more than you even needed to want that thing.
Exactly. Sometimes you think maybe you are not prepared for those things I really wanted always to prove Ducati that I was the right one. I still think I was the right one.
I think now in history, I think history proves this.
I think so. But as I said that year, like if Ducati don't want me, I will give my talent to somebody else. I don't, my talent will be still there, and I can ride another motorbike. So till I understood this was tough, because we were always on the edge. 2022, I already signed my contract for 23 on a factory ride. At some point, they told me, okay, you're not going there. We don't want you. We want another rider.
Oh, so you already signed?
Yeah, it was crazy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think nobody know that. You know that.
I didn't. Yeah, wow.
So yeah. Then we signed like another contract. Okay, that's fine. And
okay, so this makes
I accept the situation because I was happy also in Pramac where I was with a factory bike. So at the end of the day, wasn't that difference. But then the year after, I was runner-up. So arriving into the last let's say to the last races, I was going really close to win, and they want me back in the factory team, but they had another rider contract. So the contracts means nothing for the big factories, and they just play with us, the riders, for sure. We give our 100%, but yeah, it's tough also for us to understand this.
This is a new thing, because or am I wrong in saying that? Because I feel like in, let's say maybe 10 years ago, the contract was the contract.
Yeah.
But you can see now in Formula One.
Yeah.
Like Liam Lawson.
Yeah.
2 races. See you, bro. Like they just change so quickly now. I feel like this is a new thing.
Yeah, for sure. A sport is a sport, but our sport is big companies. Big companies, they want to have results. They want to sell bikes or cars or Red Bulls or whatever, no? So it's a company, and I think they will do whatever they have to win, no? And if you are not good enough, or if they think you are not good enough, then you mean nothing. My dad always told me, like, your value is your result of the last race. So that's it. And I always think like this, no? And it's true.
The Bastianini season was crazy because you had the contract, and then it's like you go there to battle with Pecco as your teammate, which would have been crazy to think about.
For 25,
was it 20?
23 was like the first time I could have been there.
But they went with Bastianini,
yeah, exactly.
right? Yeah. So then that year, and then you and Pecco battled for the championship like crazy that year.
Yeah.
But then the next year, then you win the championship, and it's like, surely this is just automatic. You just go straight there. And then fucking Marquez.
Yeah.
Like the only guy that could have stopped you from getting that seat decided to change teams.
I think was the only one.
That is mind-blowing. When you step back and when you think about that situation, there's only one guy that could have done that.
Yeah.
And that's what happened after a world championship. That shit is crazy.
Yeah. When I think back to it, I also remind to Carlos Sainz when he lost the place to Hamilton.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, he said, okay, he's a 7-time world champion. There's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
So this was a bit of the same, no?
Yeah.
The Marquez words have a lot of weight, and if he wanted that bike, he will get that bike.
Yeah.
There's nothing I could do. So I was leading the championship with 40 points. That was what I can control. And I was fighting for that title. But I think anyway, that decision, let's say, or that moment, Mugello, 2024, it helped me to like, okay, it's done. I will go with Aprilia. Whatever. Let's go. Let's fucking go for this season. And thanks to that, I won the championship. So I'm even grateful to Ducati. I didn't have to think anymore about my future. The deal was done.
Yeah.
Maybe if they would keep me like thinking for more races, I wouldn't perform at my top level. So things are like this. You need to adapt, and that was perfect.
It is just one of the craziest storylines, I think, in recent MotoGP memory, though, because, you know, the first time to then they pick Bastianini and instead of you, then you go on to ultimately win the championship, but then Marquez, the same thing. Like that, it's such a, it almost feels like this situation could just never happen again. And also Ducati just being clearly the best bike. And I think now Aprilia's an amazing machine. Like you've got KTM that's close, probably a little bit back, exactly. But you were in such a crazy period of time where there was one bike that was so much better, and then you were winning a championship. Then the 7-time world champion wants to come onto this bike. Like that will never. I can't see something this crazy happening again.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, I mean, we will never know what will happen. Let's say.
Yeah.
Maybe I will have 3 more championships with Ducati, or maybe not. I mean, you never know. Things go like this, and you just need to adapt. I think we all have our own story, and the important thing is to enjoy also, you know, to enjoy these things, to be, you know, to be around, and to. Now I'm so happy that I'm on an Aprilia. I'm enjoying a lot the moment. The bike is working perfectly. And for sure we have some up and downs, let's say, but at the end of the day, the bike is unbelievable good, and I really enjoy it.
So the other thing that's cool to think about, and maybe we forget this when we're just watching from round 1 to the end of the season, but you're going against Pecco for the World Championship. You've known this guy for so long, and you've raced against him for so many years. Maybe like the sport every year gets like new fans, and they don't understand the history that you guys have.
Yeah.
How was it to battle with a guy that you've known for so long for this championship?
Was good, honestly. I mean, if I have to battle with someone for a championship, I prefer to be, you know, that this guy is good to me, let's say, because, you know, if I lose, I will be also happy for him. You know, I lost in 23 and I was happy for him because he deserved it. I mean, I know what he's been through also. We were sleeping in the same room for 2 years when I was in Moto3. So you know, we were close friends. Then for sure we split ways, let's say.
Yeah.
But we are good to each other, and you know, I'm proud of him, and I think he's proud of myself. He always, also when I won the championship, he stayed. You know, he was stand there on the podium watching me celebrating. So, you know, this means a lot. For me, the important thing is to have respect for each other. We never touch. Like we always were so clean. Even if we were so aggressive. I mean, Malaysia 2024, you can see that the races, the first 3 laps is crazy. We overtook each other like 7 or 8 times, but we never touch each other. Like we have always respect, always clean, and for me, this is the most important thing.
That has to be fun, to race a championship on the limit with a guy that you can have a lot of trust for. Yeah,
that was good fun. The thing is to have control of what is going on. If you don't have control, then it's really easy to lose that championship or to go to the floor. But I was under control, and yeah, I really enjoyed that. You enjoy it when you finish, like, wow, well, what a hell of a race, no? But yeah, was good fun till the end.
And you were the first ever rider to win a MotoGP championship on a private team.
Yeah, I'm so proud of this, you know. I used to say it's like we were like 12 people versus 500, you know, versus a full factory. Because you can think that Ducati was supporting me, but they were supporting Pecco. I don't know if you guys know, but we can compare the data to another riders, no? Yep. So the good thing about Ducati is that they used to have 8 bikes. So I could compare to Pecco, to Bastianini, to Marquez, you know. So maybe if one is fast, you can go to compare, okay, corner 5, corner 6, which setup? Okay, let's try this. So in one moment you arrive to the level, no? So to compete against Pecco with the same bike, and he was able to watch all my data. I had to, at some practices, at some point of the year, I had to slow down during practices so they didn't know or they didn't watch my data. So that's crazy. I was riding like, okay, I will push in sector 1 and sector 3, but the next lap, sector 2, sector 4, and then I was putting everything together with my team. So I was trying to hide, so they wouldn't see all the data, no? So yeah, it was huge. It was huge fight.
Could you see Pecco's data, or would they hide Pecco's data from you?
I could see the data, but I don't know if they were hiding something. I don't really know.
But did you want to see Pecco's data, or
yeah,
yeah, okay,
yeah, it's good. I mean, Pecco was the reference in Ducati, absolutely, and braking he was next level. You cannot imagine. Maybe I was braking like when I was showing God, no, like Swans was saying that.
Yeah.
And then I was the data like was 30 meters later. I was, what the hell, mate? What is this? I'm stronger on exiting.
Yeah.
I go really early on the full throttle. Maybe he was really good in the first touch, but when I open it, I just go for it. I pick up really, really fast, and that's my strongest point. But yeah, it was good to compare and to try to get close to him.
So when people talk about you, they talk about Marquez, they talk about Pedro, they say just the talent is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Do you think people mention Pecco's talent in the same way?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's really difficult for me to say. I think people don't really know how much talent and we have, each of us, because they say it because of the results. They don't say it because of the real talent. So, when Pecco won 3 championships, was the best talent in the world, and now I think in our sport, if you win, you are the best, and the next day if you are bad, you are a crap. No, so neither you are the best, either you are the worst. I mean, you have to be, I think, more regular in terms of emotions and just I think he's really good.
That's crazy to me that you were doing sector 1 and 3.
Yeah.
And then 2 and 4.
Yeah.
And trying to
also
mix
to
it.
Myself.
That's like some crazy mind games that you guys are out there playing.
Yeah. I don't know. I think people won't do this, but I had to.
Yeah?
I mean, there's
12 people versus 500.
Exactly. I had to do something. I was like speaking with my team, okay, I feel so good, but I don't want to show them. So maybe I was 5th, 6th on the practices. Then when the race arrived, I just killed them. I killed them all. It's not that you can do it always.
Time.
You have to be like on another level. I was 2-3 races. I was on a completely different level, and I was using this technique. But yeah, it was good fun also, no? Like doing these games, and yeah, that my team are still so close to me. Like we fought together to beat this big company for sure. I have a Ducati, I have a full let's say material. I was factory rider, but they wanted to win with the factory team, so we were able to do it.
Yeah, and Paulo's such a nice guy.
Who?
Paulo.
Oh yeah,
Such a nice guy, like it was very cool because when Jack was there, like we got to be around a little bit, like he came to Jack's wedding, and he was just such a very kind, nice guy too, he just always seems so happy, and just to see you guys get that championship, and Pramac, he supported racing for so many years, and to be the first private team to win that championship is just it's so special. Yeah,
my story with Pramac I will always remember. I pick up the place that Jack left because he was there. Then I jumped there and we achieved the first victory of the team together. Yeah. Then we were like a team, world champion team, like as a satellite team. That this never happened, I think, before. And then we won the championship also. So I think we write a bit of a story of our sport, and this will mean a lot for me always.
So what was different in the World Championship year to the other years? Good
question. I think the mental side.
So do you think that the switch really was that big of a change that it led to a World Championship?
Yeah. When I started training like the mental side, it just 2 weeks, I felt the difference. I was like, wow, it's crazy. Then, during these 2 years, I've been through a lot of situations from the highest to the lowest. I had to learn a lot and speak a lot to myself, like improving but yeah, I think that year I was capable of, as I said before, finishing second, finishing fourth, finishing fifth, winning, just bringing home whatever I could. And at the end of the year, it paid off.
So then you sign the deal with Aprilia.
Yes.
Then that almost takes a bit of pressure off, like you
Yes.
said. Then you get to the first test, looking like a fucking gangster. That all black Aprilia, the Alpine Stars gear. I was like, with the
Black
number
helmet.
1, I'm like, this motherfucker is about to wreck shop.
Yeah. Bam.
This lasted 5 laps.
5 laps.
Fuck.
Yeah, difficult, really difficult. For me at that point, wasn't that tough. Like, okay, I crashed, I broke my feet, I broke my, some bone in the hand, but I was straight away, after 7 days, I was on a motorbike. So I've been training, like, okay, let's prepare. Okay, we didn't test, but I feel good. Let's go training to the go-kart track. Record, personal record. On the last lap, like last run, one more lap, high side, boom. I broke my scaphoid, again my foot, and that was tough. Like, okay, this injury is another story. It's not just a finger.
So what track were you on? What bike
I was
were you on?
in, one track in Lleida. It's 2 hours drive from Andorra.
Yeah.
And yeah, we went straight to here, to La de Zeus again, as I was 2 hours ago.
Yeah. And what bike were you on?
I was on a supermoto.
Oh.
Yeah, 450.
No way.
Yeah, I did a huge high side in 3rd gear.
Oh.
And this supermoto like never stopped shaking. So when I jumped from it, I was too fast and too far away. And I broke some ribs, I broke my foot, but the scaphoid was the key.
That's a terrible
I think
injury.
that was the key of the shit season.
Yep.
I think that crash.
It's a terrible injury because
Terrible.
for people that don't know, the scaphoid gets no blood flow.
Exactly.
So they have to go in and put in it's a tiny bone, and they have to put in a tiny bit pin to try and make that bone stick together and heal. For some people, it ruins their career.
Yeah.
Some people can never come back from this injury, and it takes so long to heal. Boy, I think you're good.
I'm good now, but
but it takes a long time
No, I
to
underwent
recover.
second surgery also. Yeah. I then to go in the timeline, let's say.
Yeah.
So then I tried to recover. It was tough. Was difficult. I wasn't feeling well, and I didn't touch a motorbike because I didn't want to get injured again. So I went to Qatar. So that was my first touch with the Aprilia. I started riding. It was really difficult. Like, I was the year before I was winning in Qatar with one hand, and I arrived there and I was 18. And I was like, no way, something's going wrong. What I told you before, after 2 laps I was destroyed. I couldn't do more than 2 laps, on a good level. Anyway, I was almost into Q2. I was 13 by 20 milliseconds from the 12. So I was almost Q2. I did the sprint, 10 laps. I was destroyed. And then Sunday was like, okay, I will try to make it to the end. That's my target. I don't really want to do any position, just making laps with the bike, blah, blah, blah. So I just went to the race. I did my best. At some point I said, okay, I'm in the middle of nowhere. I will slow down a bit and just relax. So I went wide. Maybe I lost a bit of concentration. I just touched this long curb, and I was in the wrong moment, in the wrong place. Because Dijan Antonio was coming behind me, and he kicked me with his bike, and that was tough. I broke 14 ribs with hemothorax, I was bleeding from the lungs, and I thought I was gonna die. Absolutely. So
Really?
that was really tough. Yeah.
So and when you're on the ground, because when you puncture a lung, you can't breathe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I could, a lot of times happen to us that we crash and we cannot breathe. So you just, for sure it's tough, but you wait and then slowly it's coming back, no? But this was never coming back. I was like, what the hell is going on? At some point I could start to breathe. I went to the ambulance. We went to the medical center in the track. But there it was when I was feeling I was falling off. Like something inside me, I was like, I'm dying. Absolutely, I'm dying. So I called really quickly my Maria, my girlfriend, to say goodbye. I really was like, she came, she watched me, I just cried, and I told him like, I love you. I don't know if I'm gonna make it. So wow, it's huge. And yeah, anyway, after that, 2 minutes after, the doctor told me, okay, Jorge, you are safe. Let's say we have to go really fast to the hospital. They have to put you like a tube into the lung. Here we cannot do it, so let's go. So at that point, I was a bit more optimistic. Anyway, when I arrived in the hospital, it wasn't easy. They just put my arm here. They cut, no analgesia. Was there?
Yeah, anesthetic.
No anesthesia. They just went, cut. And then when they put the tube, was like, and there I could breathe, So till that moment, these 2 hours were so tough.
Wow,
so tough.
And is that the first time you've ever had that feeling?
Yeah.
Like I might not make this.
Yeah. I always had like pain and a lot of pain. It's crazy, but to really feel that close to living was so tough. I don't get the experience like that I was gone. I was always conscious. I was always there, but I felt that I was leaving this world to another one. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Did that change your perspective on life?
I think not that point, but for sure injuries or that moment afterwards in the UCI.
Intensive care. Yeah,
intensive care. Then like being in Qatar for 3 weeks. All the process that I've been through, it made me change a lot the perspective of life. A lot.
Yeah, I don't think that you could go through something like that and not change.
Exactly. In the morning, sometimes I just smell the coffee. And I'm like, wow, like coffee. So, so you to understand that even, I don't know, being, taking some sun. How do you say in English? Like
sunbaking?
Yeah, like sun in the terrace.
Yeah.
Without putting some tape on my scratches, no?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
No, how's the word? Like the
like Band-Aid or whatever.
Yeah. What is this?
Like a scar?
Yeah. Without putting anything on my scar, just like I'm healthy. You know. So every small thing that is happening to me now, or every moment, I'm really enjoying it, enjoying the moment, being healthy. I think we all think that being healthy is normal, but being healthy is a present, absolutely. Because now I see the people that is in wheelchair or with some issues or health issues, and I really feel for them, no? Because I know what is that, and to be healthy now is a completely present.
You're so right when you said before, if you did this conversation 2 years ago, it would just be so different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you can change so much as a person in a couple of years with these crazy hard things that you have to overcome.
Yeah.
And it sucks. It sucks that you need to have so much pain to grow.
Yeah.
And to enjoy life much more, right?
It sucks, but I am grateful. I am grateful that this happened to me. I mean, for sure, if I couldn't ride anymore, maybe I wouldn't be grateful. Or maybe yes, I don't know. The thing is that I'm grateful that thanks to that situation, I am a better person, absolutely. I am a better rider, absolutely. So at the end of the day, it just helped me. So, God put me this situation, and I could go forward, and I'm a better guy now.
How difficult was that recovery? Because this is about the same time on the timeline that all of the talking started happening and
Yeah.
all of the negativity around the Aprilia. How difficult was it to go through not only the recovery, but then you have all of this crazy noise that starts to come in on the outside, and who knows how much of this is even true?
Yeah. So I think, well, for sure, people don't know what happened exactly, the situation, absolutely, and I think they will never know exactly because we won't tell it today. but yeah, I was in Qatar still, and then my manager called me like, okay, are you sure you want to continue? We have this chance, no? So I start to doubt a lot of myself. I didn't know if I was gonna be able to ride again a motorbike. So imagine if I didn't know if I was gonna ride at my level, I was like,
Yeah.
So at that point, okay, I say, okay, maybe I can, but let's take a long-term thing. I want to have my time, no pressure. I don't want to come back and have to demonstrate like I am still the same Martín. So I say, okay, let's have a long-term. We will be fine. But for sure, when we tell Aprilia, they say, no fucking way, you are leaving. So then we started this fight.
So it was more about you just wanted to take time off riding to recover.
I was like, if I sign this deal, I won't even come back this year. Like I want to take my time, recover at my 100%, and when I feel ready, I will come back. So that was a bit this was a bit the reason why I wanted to change. I always thought, that 27 is the year of the Japanese. Since I heard about the regulations, I always think about it. So that's why I thought, was gonna be a good option. Anyway, I was meanwhile with all my broken ribs. I couldn't sleep. It was really, really tough. At that point, I was reading a bit too much also the comments. Even if I don't really care, I was reading them, and
It still does something to your mind.
it does something, absolutely, and yeah, it's like your mind try to look for them. It's crazy because you can read 100 good comments, but if you read one bad comment, like what the fuck, man? What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
So yeah, luckily I learned from that also, and at the end of the day, we sit down with Aprilia and we decide like I wanted to stay. Because if not, there was no way of continue riding that year. So at the end of the day, they convinced me. They saw me the project, and we say, okay, we will continue. But if we continue, we have to be a family. Absolutely, we have to go for it. So we just did that, and yeah, we were racing well. My scaphoid wasn't recovering, and then I had another injury, my collarbone in Japan. From last season, so yeah, huge season.
That's a tough road.
Yeah,
that's so much. That's so much stress. That's so much pain. That's a lot to put on a young person.
Yeah, for sure. I always say that athletes we really mature much faster than other guys. I see people with my age, and I feel like they are 18. No, it's a completely different story. We are almost like big companies. Like I have like 7 persons working for me, like full time. I have already my house. Like I feel like if I was 40, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's crazy, and yeah, I think it's good. I really enjoy being like an adult, but I don't want to lose that kid inside of myself.
Yeah, that's a tough balance, right?
Yeah.
Like you do have to be so grown up.
Yeah.
And you're also in a position where you're trying to take care of your family, and there's all of these things that you're trying to do that's so much more beyond your years,
Yeah.
But then at the same time, maybe play some fun music, maybe have a couple of drinks, maybe act your age a little bit at some times, because otherwise you're just going to be a 45-year-old man.
Yeah.
in your early
exactly.
20s.
Yeah, I think I learned quite good, like to have the balance.
Yeah.
I know when to train. I know when to party. I know when to, to compete, and do it all at your 100%. I mean, I don't really go to a drink every Saturday. I mean, I don't really enjoy it, But if I have something to celebrate, trust me that you will have fun with me. I mean, I go wild, like fucking crazy, like a little bastard. Yeah. Lando called me my Ibiza little bastard.
That's so funny.
Because we met there and yeah, it was good fun. But what I say, the important thing is to have the balance. I can train 4 months, like non-stop, eating well, as I said before, doing everything I can. But then I need these 2 days of, switch off with my friends in the boat, in Ibiza, like having fun. This is so necessary for me.
Yeah. And I think that it's quite fair. I think that there's those boys in Supercross, just nothing.
Nothing.
Nah. Like it's so rare, bro.
Yeah, but they don't stop.
No.
It's like crazy.
No. You guys.
Well, we don't stop, but we have our month in summer where you can, this maybe 2 small trips of 2 days, 2 days and 2 days.
Yeah.
Or no, I don't know, maybe 2 days in July and 2 days in August. And then in winter I can, go. I always go to, I don't know, Punta Cana or some, Caribe or something that I can enjoy the beach.
Yeah.
Because I live in the mountains, so I like to do the opposite. But, for me it's so important to have those days to switch off.
Man.
They don't.
The Supercross, there used to be after parties. Like when I first went, when I first moved to America, dude, boys would fucking light it up.
You won, let's go.
But now, nothing.
Monday on the bike.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
They go so...
But maybe it's too much. I don't know. I think each person have their style, you know. I can see some, some riders that maybe they have to go on the bike every day. Some others that they don't even touch it. I can see here in MotoGP there are some riders that don't train at all. Don't train nothing. They just go from race to race. They train physical side for sure, but no motorbike. So that's why I think, okay, I will do my stuff. I think I do what I think is better for me, and that's it.
I think that's one of the most unique things about MotoGP and Formula One. Because you're limited to test days.
Yeah.
You can't ride a MotoGP bike.
Exactly.
And you go ride a superbike, but it's like doesn't really do that much,
Exactly.
So you guys are kind of blessed in that same way. Because imagine if you could ride a MotoGP bike Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday every week.
I will be fucked. I don't really want. I have time for myself, to enjoy life and to...
But you think about this, right? Because nobody can, nobody does.
Exactly.
So it's not a problem.
It's not a
But
problem.
what about if one guy? What about if Pedro Acosta rode a MotoGP bike every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and none of you guys did?
What time is now? I think I will be on the MotoGP bike.
That's what I'm saying. So that's what happens in Supercross.
Exactly.
Because there's no agreement where if all the boys got together, Tomac, Roczen, all them, wait, fuck this. Let's not ride.
Yeah.
Everyone just ride on Saturday.
Yeah.
It would change the sport completely.
Absolutely.
But you guys can't do it. And same as Formula One.
Exactly.
So like maybe some guys get in the sim more than others. But I mean, there's some guys like, dude, I know Formula One guys, they're just like, fuck the sim. Like I never want to be in there. But then you get Max fucking has a sim on his plane and because he loves to do it.
To do it.
But you guys are so lucky that you don't have to ride a MotoGP bike. Because if you did, and if they were available, there would be one crazy motherfucker that would just take it to a crazy level.
To another level. Yeah, absolutely. I think the more you train, the more you get prepared, the better you race, no? For sure. I don't know how faster will we go. I don't know. It's tough to say it. I think the physical side, you will be on a completely different level.
Yeah.
But as I said before, maybe, after the summer break, normally we used to go to Silverstone. And our second lap after 1 month without a motorbike is already the pace, So
insane.
It's here.
Yeah.
It's not about train, it's more about your mentality, your preparation, but not only riding. For sure I ride during, midweek I go 2 days a week. I go training with my 600 on a go-kart track, but nothing to do with the MotoGP.
Yeah. So what was the process like of getting back to racing in 2025? Because let's say the old Martín did start to come back towards the end of that season.
So Yeah, I came back in Brno, and I did 7th, and then we had this summer break. So this, I got a big push or boost in my confidence, finishing seven on my first race was really good. So yeah, I went as always, as I said before, to Ibiza. Then with my girlfriend is from Ibiza, that's why I go there. And I will go anywhere anyway with the friends. No, but yeah, I was training, I was getting prepared, but I always had a lot of pain on my back. My scaphoid wasn't really sticking, so yeah, I wasn't at my top level. Anyway, I was racing. Hungary, I finished 4th, coming from 18th. So something was still there, still there. I could see it, I could smell it, but we never made it to do a podium because Japan. When my good races started, I think was Japan, Australia, Indonesia. So in Japan, I was too obsessed of recovering, and the first corner I crashed into the field and I lost the control because I didn't know the bike yet. So I lost completely the control, and it was a dangerous situation, and I broke my collarbone. And yeah, so yeah, my season ended there, and yeah, wasn't. Then I had to recover for the 4th time, and I was in Valencia to do the long laps because they penalized me for that. Yeah. So I said, okay, we do it in Valencia, so I don't have it for next season.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the big issue here was that I raced in Valencia, but I had still pain on my collarbone after 2 months, and my hand after 10 months is still pain also. I was still in pain, so I changed doctors, like I went for another opinion, and they told me like, dude, this is broken. Like, you cannot race like this. I mean, you can, but you won't make it for one more season. Maybe you need to stop. So to finish the year after 5 surgeries and 25 broken bones, and they told me that I had to undergo again surgery on my hand and on my collarbone with some, I don't know the word, like they took some bone from my...
A bone graft.
Bone graft, yeah. Yeah, from the legs.
That shit's painful, eh?
Yeah, that's so painful.
Yeah.
I couldn't... Poo. What's the word? Poo.
Yeah.
I couldn't go to the toilet, like, because I had so much pain on my...
Really?
On my... What's this? The ankle? No, not the ankle. The hip, sorry.
Yeah.
I had so much pain on my hips that I couldn't go to the toilet, I couldn't walk, and was a big issue. But luckily they were able to, to make another collarbone, to make another scaphoid, and now I'm 100%. So I'm really grateful to that, for that decision. Even if my winter was so shit, I was, I couldn't do anything, just be with my family and getting some kilos.
Dude, what a crazy year!
Yeah.
And from being the world champion, just the best career, exactly. The best year of your career, top of the world, to the most shit.
Yeah, I think this is a great... I mean, it's a good inspiration if you look in the other way around, no? Like, everything can fell off. Like, you can be, whatever. You can be with a girlfriend, like, perfectly, and then see live. But then maybe you are in depression, but you can see that in 1 year your life can change a lot. Not only about this, about love, but
everything.
And you can put it in any aspect of life. Like, in 1 year, I was, from the day I broke my first, the first injury in 24, to the year after, I was on the podium in Brazil. So, I mean, you can achieve everything that you want to.
This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Brunt Workwear, and I have got the brand new Marin boot here to show you guys right now. Over the last couple of years, I just wanted to get rid of doing the sneaker thing. They're not waterproof. They got super dirty, and I would end up with track shoes. I wanted to be able to rock some boots. It just made a lot more sense to wear boots.
So I've switched to wearing boots, and now I've switched to wearing these Brunt boots. There's a super short break-in period, and they're lightweight, they're waterproof, they're slip and oil resistant, they're heat resistant, and they're electrical hazard rated. A lot of you guys that listen to this podcast, you're on job sites, you run a machinery, and you actually really need and test all of these features every single day. So now you can finally have durable work boots that are as comfortable out of the box as your sneakers, and over 500,000 customers agree. Brunt didn't just make a durable work boot, they've reinvented comfort for the hardest workers out there. For a limited time only, our listeners get $10 off a Brunt by using the code GYPSYGANG at checkout. Just head to bruntworkwear.com and use the code GYPSYGANG and you are all set. And even better, Brunt will let you try this work boot risk-free on the job site. After you purchase, they're going to ask you where you heard about them. So please support our show by telling them that the Gypsy Gang sent you. So even though you didn't get on the podium at all in that first season, could you really start to see the potential that the Aprilia had in the season as you went into that season?
Yeah, I could see that on Marco's side.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, the bike is working for Marco, but the bike is not working for me. So a lot of doubts also at that point, like maybe I don't get to adapt to this bike. So yeah, I was injured. The last injury I saw, Marco was winning, Raul won one race. So I was like, oh, I'm in trouble. Like I need to go back and do this stuff. But after all, it's what we spoke before. You need to believe in yourself and understanding that if, it's just putting in the work, putting in the hours, and at the end of the day, it will arrive.
So then you come into 2026, and I mean, like you're in the hunt for a world championship. You might be world champion again in 2026. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when we were in the team presentation, nobody knew about my second surgery on the hand and the collarbone. Oh, really? You kept it all secret?
Yeah, I was like, fuck, I'm not ready. Like, I couldn't even put the leathers on. I was with the leather like with so much pain. And people was like, how are you, Jorge? No. Yeah, I will fight till the end for this championship. But inside of me was like, mate, I cannot take a glass of water like by my own. So, yeah, it was nice. Like, nice at that point, but the important thing is that, I trust a lot on myself and I worked a lot. I missed the pre-season, but in Thailand I was 5th, then 4th, then 3rd in Brazil, 2nd, and I won in Austin, the sprint. So, this is what we spoke before. The results help you I use the results as fuel to continue working, because I work also on the bad moments, but this requires much more effort and much more discipline. But because if you are winning, it really comes really easy. When you are in that sweet moment, you can train, you can do whatever. That it's easy to do it. But the problem is when you are not fast enough.
Yeah. So how sweet did that feel in Brazil? And then I was at Austin too, and
yeah.
I mean, apart from the fucking cartwheel,
after
the finish, I mean, pretty sweet sprint race victory. Like, how cool was it to finally get on the podium with the Aprilia?
Yeah, I think the sprint podium was unbelievable. I was, thanking all the saints and God. I remember a lot about my grandpa that left like 4 years ago. And I know he's always helping me from up there. So I was really emotional. And I always get emotional thinking about the people that is around me. For example, Le Mans, I won the race and I was really like shouting and we won. I broke the screen and everything. But when I saw on the television my dad, my trainer, my friend is there when I was broke. Like, wow, like they really deserve it. So it's more for them why I get emotional.
That's it's very cool, when you can see maybe like do something other than just for yourself.
Exactly.
Was it always like that though?
No.
So this is like a new appreciation, you think?
Yeah. I think I always, for sure, my family was always important for me. My mom and my dad and my brother. But now, after all the bad moments, everybody, my trainer came to my house every fucking day to work on my recovery, to help me to don't be alone, because I was at home alone sometimes. So, it's for him and for all the people that make something, or help me a bit to become what I am today.
Yeah, because it's true. Like in those moments, there's like your trainer's paid to train, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, he's injured, he can't train. Well, maybe it's fine.
Exactly.
I wait until he's can be back and doing the program. But it's like you get those people that they can see what you need
exactly
at the time, and like maybe you didn't. It's like you didn't need a trainer at that time. You needed somebody to be there.
You need a brother.
Exactly.
So yeah, you can pay a trainer to train you, absolutely. But what we need, I think, what athletes like me needs is a 24/7, like a guy that if I call him that I am with no fuel on the road, he will come and pick me up. So this is what we need, a brother, a person that is together with you always, and this is what I found in my trainer. So I'm so happy to have him.
So going forward for 2026, I mean, it's an epic season right now.
Yeah.
I mean, crazy, maybe the craziest MotoGP race on the weekend.
Yeah, for sure. MotoGP is good fun now. It's getting
interesting.
Better. Yeah, it's getting better. And now, for example, Austin, I won from 8 on the grid.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Was it seventh? I think seventh.
Yeah, seventh.
Yeah.
Like with the medium, nobody with the medium. Bam, Martinator. Then also Sunday I was coming in hot. Le Mans I won from 8. So these things.
That's crazy.
I couldn't do it in the past. Like I could finish on the podium, like coming from the back, but never win. So now it's like.
What do you think that is?
I think experience. Experience, because now I get to understand better the tires. I manage really well, and I can be fast with like managing a lot the tires. So at the end of the race, I have more than the rest. So this is really important because the last few years I was like just full gas, trying to slide and put the power on the ground. But when you have more power than what you need, you just destroy the tire.
Yeah, because I guess that shit's probably pretty fun, right?
It's fun. It's good fun. It's easy. I mean, we have the control, so you just can do whatever you want. But anyway, it's crazy because if you enter into the control, then you broke the tire. So it's like with no controls, like managing well, you will consume less tire than with the controls.
Yeah.
So you have to be always on that balance.
Yeah. What do you think has made MotoGP more competitive this season with the manufacturers?
I think we reached the top level of this regulation. I think there's nothing more. Like for sure there may be something more, but I feel Ducati reached their top level maybe 1 year ago. Aprilia is reaching it now, so we are so close. KTM is so close. Here they were stronger than anyone. So I think that's why. I think next year we will see a bit more of differences. Maybe with less aero, less weight, different engines, different tires. Maybe it's more about the rider than the bike. I don't know. We will see. But for sure this year is about, the time is done of these bikes. I would love to continue with these bikes because I think it's like if Formula 1 go backwards, It's a bit strange, like going from 1000 to 850. But I think for the show will be good. So let's see.
So what have you heard about any preseason or any testing on these new 850s?
No, not yet. Not for me.
You haven't heard anything yet in terms of like
there are some about what is going on.
More so, I know you can't talk about your contract, so I'm not asking you about your contract. So, but you hear like in the paddock, like this bike's fast, or they've tested this and it's this much seconds under the lap time, or is there any? Is there anything that you guys are hearing on which manufacturers are making a good bike or how fast it is?
I know Ducati. They told me like they were 1.6 from the lap time in Mugello.
Back.
Yeah, like 1.6 is lower. I think it was. I'm not pretty sure. I know they are all working. KTM have the bike since last year, so they are pretty
far ahead.
Yeah, but you never know. I mean, let's see. It's a completely different engine, completely different tires. So maybe you have a engine that work with this tire, or maybe I don't know which bike, but maybe some bike is working with the Michelin and another one and then when they change tire, it's completely different bike. The balance. I feel the change from a medium to a soft is a completely different bike. I need to change the setup from one tire to another. So imagine from one brand to another brand.
Yeah.
So I think will be really interesting. So I think we will enjoy.
You said before that you think 2027 will be the year of the Japanese.
Yeah.
Why do you think the Japanese bikes will be better in these new regulations? Does the experience that they have?
No, I think it's more like for sure they know how to make bikes. This absolutely, but I think it's more like what I said before about going back. I feel these bikes is like going back, like more corner speed, less power, less aero. So yeah, I think that was my intuition.
Yeah.
Since I saw the regulations like 2 years ago, I always thought about it, but we will see in the future.
Yeah. So why do you think they're changing? If you think that this is like the best MotoGP bikes ever, why are they changing?
I don't know. I think it can be for the cost, maybe. It's too much. Maybe it's for this. And also maybe because of the show. They all agree that maybe... I don't think they did it for the show. Because
the show is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I don't think they did it for that because they were the factories who agreed to these regulations and they don't want show. They want to win. So I don't think it's for this. Maybe it's for the cost. But yeah, I don't really care. I mean, it's a motorbike. I ride motorbikes and I will enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
I love to ride these bikes. I prefer to ride these bikes because it's impressive how fast we are. But I honestly like more like no devices, like riding a normal motorbike because it's more about the rider. It's more about controlling the wheelie, controlling the slide. It's not that that help from the bike.
Yeah, and I think that that excites me because there's been I think this year is different because this year you have KTM's making good progress. Aprilia is fantastic. Ducati's obviously fantastic. Honda is even entered back more into the picture. So it's like, I think we're seeing just an amazing season now. But in the past couple of years, it was like, if you're not on a Ducati, then, look at Marquez. Marquez was on the Honda, nothing
to do.
Gets to the Ducati, and it's like such a dominant season. So it just becomes extremely obvious. And I think maybe Fabio Quartararo is maybe one of the most talented riders in the field, but he just doesn't have the tool to make the win. So it's like, I am excited to go back to it being more guys being competitive and more being about the talent. But as it stands right now, you guys, it's just fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Like what these bikes are capable of and then what you're capable of on these bikes.
Yeah, I think the show now is super good. I think we have some issues. There are some regulations that there are no sense, like the front tire pressure.
I was literally about to say that.
Yeah, because
what are we doing?
Without this rule, let's say, the show would be much more fun. Nowadays you cannot follow the rider in front. Sorry, either you pass him or you stay 1 second behind. It's like Formula One. You cannot do anything. If you are behind, you will crash.
And so why is that exactly?
Yeah, because they say the tire can explode. So because some tires exploded in the past, but rear ones, never a front one, but they keep it safe, no? So it's good for safety maybe if this happen, but I think this can never happen. So yeah. Anyways, what it is the same for everybody. So we just get to, adapt to the situation. But yeah, I remember 2017, when it was Suzuki, Honda, Ducati, Yamaha. They were all fast. Maybe Asen it was, like till the last lap, like 7 riders. This is good fun, and this I really miss it a bit, because when I was young in the Rookies Cup, like 15 riders. Then in Moto3 you are like also 15.
Oh, dude.
Moto2 is a bit more boring because everything is quite slow. Let's say in terms of how you ride the bike. But MotoGP for me can be like a more show, but we at the moment it's not easy.
So if you got to draw the regulations, what would you do?
About touching the regulation, yeah, that's crazy.
You're the guy. They come to you tomorrow and they say, "Hey, how about you make the rules?
Yeah,
you make the rules of what bikes, electronics, all this, tires, all this. What would you do?"
So I will. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I will for sure take out this pressure rule, absolutely. Then I will take out the maximum liters of fuel, because it's also, it's not good. We have to manage the fuel also. So you cannot push your 100% of the bike. You have to sometimes take out some power, and I don't really like to take out power.
Yeah.
So I think these two things could help a lot to improve the show of the sport.
What about aero and ride height stuff?
Also, I think I will. Yeah, it's what is going to happen next year. The devices, I will take them out. I think they are quite dangerous in terms of the start. We have to unlock it. We have to go like 20 bars of brake to unlock it, but maybe somebody is behind.
Yep.
So this is dangerous. I think this will be good. And, with the rear height device, you can go on that bike and I won't accelerate better than you, Maybe.
Come on, bro.
Maybe but I mean,
I know what you're saying.
Average rider.
It just makes it so much easier.
I cannot overtake him. Like, I can too, but normal. In the past, you can exit better, then into the next corner you can overtake. But now that's impossible. You have to wait to a big straight, having a great slipstream, and then going into the brakes. No. So.
And you were saying that one of your strengths is the exit. Yeah. So I mean, this ride height device kind of just makes one of your strengths go.
Yeah, exactly. For sure, it's helping me to improve another skills. So I hope that in the future, with no rear height device, I can have more performance. But yeah, nowadays, anyone in the MotoGP grid can really exit quite well, because at the end of the day, it's in terms of putting power on the ground, and the lower you are, the more power you can put.
Mm. And what about the aero? Like, what does that do for you on the motorcycle? Like, let's say if you rode your current bike now, but it was like a Valentino Rossi 2006 fairing type motorcycle.
Wow. I don't know. It's impossible to know.
Yeah.
But for sure, it will change a lot. Yesterday, when I crashed, I lost all the left fairing, aero, let's say, not the fairing, but all the extra pieces.
Yeah.
No? I didn't know that, but I knew that. Like, I was going into the left corners and I couldn't go in. Like the bike wouldn't go in, because normally I'm used to the aero, so I know my references. But when I was going in, I was always wide. So I say at the end of the race, I couldn't brake at my place. I had to brake much earlier. And at the end of the race, I asked like it was missing something, and they told me everything was missing. So you really feel it, and it's every small thing we change, maybe on a test, maybe even the behind the seat. I don't know, the aero behind the seat. When you change from one to another one, you really feel the difference in the drive, in the braking. it's crazy how different can be. Yeah.
How would you describe the feeling?
Of what?
The aero.
The thing is, for me, it's not just the aero. I mean, it's everything. Maybe our aero on another bike wouldn't work because you have the frame, you have the setup, you have the engine. So it's a bit of everything together, no? Like the package. I think the Aprilia is the best bike I ever ridden. But also because every year all the bikes are improving. So maybe if I was on a Ducati, I would say the same. But for sure, this bike is crazy. I really enjoy when I test because I really say I am like, wow. When I release the brakes, I go in, the thing is turning. I can go on the gas and pick up and like a rocket. You know, this feeling is unbelievable. And yeah, maybe next year will be for sure different and maybe good fun also.
Man, that's cool. It's cool that you are on the best bike you've ever ridden right now.
Yeah.
You know, that feeling. I mean, you look at some guys in Supercross. I mean, there's probably some guys that are like, 2012 was the best, and it's just so long in the past, and they'll never get back to this feeling. Like Fevra was saying that sometimes they'll get a new model, and then they have to spend all this time testing just to get it as good as the old production bike because of the change. But you guys make so much progress, you know.
Yeah, we always improve. The factories every time are bigger and bigger, and you can see the work, like the pieces that they have into February after winter. Also now, during the year, they are always trying to develop something new and to be in front of the other factories. So yeah, it's good fun to try new things. Like, let's see what this can help our lap times. But yeah, it's a great sport, and for sure engineering is getting bigger and bigger and bigger always.
So if you had to compare, obviously, like you said, the Ducati's probably gotten better since you rode it. But what did the Ducati do well versus what does the Aprilia do well? And what are the differences in those bikes that make you feel like this is the best bike?
I think turning of the Aprilia is absolutely crazy, and it's a big difference to any other bike that I rode.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, touching the shoulder in the asphalt every fucking corner is crazy. But on the other way around, when I was riding the Ducati, I don't know how it's now. I don't know. But the stability in braking was unbelievable. You could brake whatever you want. The stronger you want, that the thing was stopping. So yeah, you have strong points and weak points, but the important thing at the end of the day is the balance, no? We have to be fast in 15, 20 corners, not just on braking or turning. So this is what is fun about our job, to find the perfect balance.
How much better do you think that you're going to be able to get the Aprilia over this season?
I don't know. So let's see. In Le Mans, I think I take out the 100% of the bike and the 100% of myself. But then we arrived in Barcelona and we were really suffering. Anyway, we were able to fight for the victory. So let's see. I think if we continue, like Barcelona is a really strange track with no grip.
Yeah, it didn't have grip all weekend.
Yeah, but never. This is the only track of the season where we have this condition. There are some tracks with more grip, less grip, but I know what to do in those situations. And from now on, all the tracks that comes are good to me. So for me, normally the beginning of the season is the worst. Like if I'm able to don't lose a lot of points, then the second part I'm rocking it,
Yeah.
So I'm pretty confident. I don't want to be
too confident
up on the ground.
Yeah.
So I will work so hard to try to be always fighting for that podium, for that victory, and bringing points home. This is the key, I think, to fight.
It's when Jack did the podcast, he was saying that the KTM almost had too much grip, too much mechanical grip, and you can just see the way that the chassis moves because it's just like it's so torqued up. And then you go to Barcelona and it's like a slippery track with not much grip. And which bike works?
KTM.
The KTM that has all of this grip built inside that's outside of just the tires. It's just crazy to be a fan and to just see these differences and these nuances in these unbelievable machines that you can go to a track like this. And you know, when you go there, you're like, fuck, I'm probably going to crash a lot this weekend because I won't have any grip.
Yeah.
And then you can see like what Pedro was able to do this weekend and, you know, like how fast those bikes can be. It's just, it's wild to me that it can be so different every weekend.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. Yeah. I mean, bikes are different. Each bike has its own problems. Yeah. Different problems. You always have problems when you arrive to a track. It's not that you arrive and, wow, the bike is sweet. I mean, I'm perfect. It's not moving. The powers are perfect. So you always have not problems, but work. A lot of work to put everything together. And KTM was good in Barcelona. We suffered. Anyway, with no grip, which we found a way. So I understood that I just need a bike that turn a bit better. You know, because I say, okay, I cannot brake, I cannot accelerate, so let's turn. So as soon as we turn fast, everything came easier, no? Even with no grip. So yeah, the important thing for me or for the factory is to know what to do in its condition or circumstances, and yeah, we will be always competitive, I think.
Where did the Le Mans victory rank on your all-time wins? Because to be 100% of you, 100% of the bike, 8th to 1st at the most iconic circuit.
Yeah. Oof.
Is that one of the best weekends of your career?
Yeah, absolutely. I think also Le Mans 24 is one of the best. Then the Sunday race, I will put it on the top 3, absolutely. Because coming from the back is not my style, you know, coming from the back, recovering till the end, 2 laps to go, overtaking for that victory was good fun, and I really enjoyed that. But it's not my style, as I said. Normally, or maybe now it's my new style. I used to start on pole or first row, then just say goodbye. See ya. But now I'm good with it. I mean, I'm good starting a bit in the back and recovering places.
So what is maybe your best victory then in the MotoGP?
That's a difficult question. I think Misano 23. I remember arriving in that track, like Misano, like with all the Valentino fans. It's full of people. And, you know, to win at the Italian, you know, cathedral in front of the Italians, Marco and Pecco, was next level. I mean, I was on a different planet at that point.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's a very proud Spanish.
Yeah, it's like
Spanish
I remember
gentleman.
like my pace was 311, 311, 311, 310, 311, 311. So you know how the level I had at that point compared to the rest was incredible. So I really enjoyed that.
Dude, well, I really enjoyed this.
Nice.
This was amazing. I hope you enjoyed it
Yeah,
as
a
well.
lot.
I know that.
How much it was?
It's
Almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think even more. How long did we
Even
go?
more, 2 hours and 15 minutes. Whoa.
There we go.
2 hours 15, eh?
What was your longest interview you ever done?
I could be here talking with you like 3 more hours.
It goes quick, huh?
Yeah.
What? You've got to get out of here though?
Sorry?
Yeah, have you got to get out
Yeah,
of
I
here?
have to.
Yeah.
I have a dinner. I never come to Barcelona. Like I live 2 hours from here, but I just come for the airport and leave.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of friends, and today that I was here because tomorrow I have an event from Red Bull. I cannot go because the doctors wouldn't allow me because the heat from today. So yeah, I will just stay here because I want to have dinner with them.
Bro, also, this is fucking iconic. So you were in hospital.
You can put the crash later, no? I will send you.
100%.
I will send you.
Literally, I finished the last podcast. I open up my phone, and then it's like Jorge Martín, cartwheels, and is in hospital. I'm like, oh, well, I hope he's okay. Like, we're probably not doing this. And then you're just like, nah, bro, we're good.
We're good.
Unbelievable.
Honestly, before arriving here, I was about to throw. I was like, you know when you sweat, but it's cold?
Yeah.
Like cold sweating, like, I'm going to throw. Till I arrived, and then when I was down from the car, I was like, okay, maybe I can do it.
That fentanyl's crazy, bro.
The what?
Fentanyl.
What?
It's crazy.
Brother, it's crazy.
Honestly, I lost my voice on the weekend, bro. Fuck. We went out on to Rocco's Ranch.
Oh, nice.
Have you been there on a
Yeah, I was
Saturday?
yesterday. Not Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
When I'm racing.
Yeah.
Yesterday I went for dinner. Good burgers.
Yeah.
Good burgers.
Dude, so Monster had a thing there on Saturday night.
Okay.
And dude, that was one of the coolest parties I've been to. I don't really go to very many parties.
Okay.
But that was one of the coolest ones I've been
Really?
to in a long time. But man, the fucking music was so loud.
Yeah.
And I was having
They have good music. Eh?
Yeah.
Yesterday I was there and the music was good.
Yeah. But man, the whole time I'm talking and I could just feel my voice start to
You
go.
don't like to talk though.
Oh, bro. And I'm like, I need to talk for 6 hours on Monday. So last night I was in bed at like 8:30. I was like, fuck, I can't be doing this.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a iconic podcast appearance. Just to be cartwheeling down the road at 300.
Yeah.
Check yourself out of hospital and then come sit through 2.5 hours of the show.
Thanks to you. I'm so happy to be here. You know, I follow Supercross, I follow Motocross, I followed you. So when we met in Austin, I was a bit drunk, but I was like, let's do it. Maybe you say he's just talking bullshit, no? But
no, well, that's why when you come up to me, I was like, dude, give me your number then. And
exactly.
Let's
you
make
did well.
it happen.
You did well because I'm completely messed with the mobile phone, with the names, with everything. I just ride motorbikes.
Yeah.
So you know, to finally put it together is good, and I hope people also start to know a bit more about MotoGP, about different things, and
Well, what do you think about real quick? I actually got 2 more things.
Okay.
I forgot. So, what do you think about the Liberty Media buying MotoGP? And are you stoked that that's going to be like the direction that the sport goes in, or is there a part of you that hopes it doesn't change too much, or where are you at on this?
It's impossible to know if this can help, but you know, being a bit intelligent. You know, if they bought a company of 4,000 millions, it's because they want to make it bigger. There's no other thing that you can do from that. So I start to see it, like in the paddock, like some tour, you know, guidance tours, something.
100%.
I don't know what was that. Like, this is new. Like,
so I did it with Yamaha this weekend.
Okay.
So I went there with.
Okay.
Yeah, and so because Yamaha's a great partner of ours and Monster as well, and so I get there and I'm just eating lunch in the hospitality, and they're like, "Oh, you're doing a pit tour," and I'm like, man, I've been in the box a million times. Like, it's fine. I don't need to go.
Good.
If someone else wants to go, all good. And they're like, "No, come on, come in," and then they do the headsets, like the Formula One, and then they have the VIP box where you can watch the new box, And so I watch, and that's when I was watching all of the qualifying, and I had the headset on, and I could hear what was going on.
Wow!
It was, and I was like, this is very Liberty Media, this is very Formula One, and that was my first experience of MotoGP changing. And I was like, okay, there is influence now that is starting to happen.
Yeah, I saw the same. I was with my scooter, like going to the box, and I said, what the hell is this? But was good fun to overtake them, like in the middle of the paddock. I can see less people, you know. Normally in the Spanish races was like I couldn't move, and this time was easy, like for sure photos and autographs, but not that much. So outside of the paddock, for sure, the fan zone was impressive, but in the paddock, I can see a bit of the change. And I guess that we'll make a big push with the new regulation. I think they are doing well.
So my next question.
Okay.
Deegan or Jet outdoors?
Oof. When do you start now, no?
Bro, like 2 weeks.
But Jet is coming from injury.
Yeah.
But he's feeling good, no?
I heard he's fucking ripping.
What is ripping? Like
ripping, like fast.
I'll go for Jet. I like Jet. I like his style, and it's good to me. Like, I can speak with him. He told me to go to his farm the other day in Austin. I would love that. So yeah, I will cheer for him and for Hunter, and I will cheer a bit more for Prado.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, of course. Dude, this is going to be the craziest outdoor season. I think this might be the year that you lock in on outdoors.
Yeah, I don't know if we can watch it from Spain. I don't know. You have to send me something.
I was going to say, I'll figure. Yeah, I was going to say, let me figure out
please.
a way for you to watch.
I love outdoors, and I don't watch them because I don't have.
I will figure that out.
Okay.
Actually, I will make sure that there is a link every morning that you can wake up and watch this. Because, dude, Jet Deegan, who is also ripping right now.
I know.
I mean,
I know.
crazy fast. Hunter coming off the best season of his life. Tomac.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Beast. Prado.
Chase.
Beast. Chase. Well, wild card. We don't know what version of him we're going to get.
What?
Like a wild card.
Who is wild card?
Like Chase, because we just don't know on the Kawasaki.
Okay.
But bro, I mean,
no, it's nice.
Prado could
Can't
be.
wait. Prado could be good. He struggled a bit last season, but I believe in him. Like, he's the man.
Yeah, he is. Dude, you're the man. This was awesome.
Thank you.
And I hope people really enjoy hearing you be so open.
Thank you.
And, talking about what you've been through. It's been a heck of a career so far, and I'll be cheering for you for many more years.
Thank you.
Come.
I'm sorry for my English. It's not my native
language.
language.
I think you did great, honestly.
Yeah, some words or something is not right. But
my English sucks too sometimes, and I have no excuse, brother.
Thank you, mate.
Appreciate you, brother.
Vamos.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.